Hello and welcome everybody. Today is the day 23rd of our Smart 25 Days Challenge, and today we are going to make a rental agreement smart contract. So, this smart contract will help the tenants and the owners, the landlords, to better establish their relationship of rents and all. So, let's start making it. Let's call this file as rental contract. Okay, so now the first line, it must be yes, zero, school, contract, rental contract. Okay, so first of all, let us just declare all the state variables. That is the uh, landlord, first of all. So in this smart contract, we will allow. So as we are proceeding in the previous videos, we will follow the same manner here also. So first of all, we'll declare all the state variables. Then we'll define some events and then modifiers if required, and then constructor. And after that, the main functions. And the functions which we are going to create today would be a function to activate the lease, a function to pay the rent, and a function to terminate the lease. Apart from that, we would also create a function to allow the landlord to withdraw the funds stored in this smart contract. So this is going to follow the manner in which we have already created the 22 videos. We have followed the series. Let's say in the same manner, this contract is going to be an easy yet useful one. And so let's start defining our smart that state variables the of this smart contract. So after the landlord, we need a tenant, a unit, public rent amount or UND rent amount. Along with that, we need lease term and start time. So for how much the lease would be valid, lease term, then unit public start time, then a boolean that to check whether the lease is activated and whether is the lease active or not is active. So as we would be using them, it would be more clear. So why and for what we have you created them, we have declared them. So let's start creating our events. First, the first event would be lease created. Okay, yes. So the lease, and yes, lease created, and in this we would indexed by landlord. And if you guys are having any difficulties in following this tutorial, then I would recommend you to please go through my previous videos, or if not all, then you can go through the starting 10 videos, and then it would be more than it would be clear to you what I am doing, and you would have a basic understanding of Solidity programming. And if you are able to follow, then no problem, just keep on following. So the event lease created, okay, is declared. Now the rent paid, and the third event would be lease terminated. So whenever the rent would be paid, this event would be emitted. Address indexed by. So in my previous videos, I have explained each and everything in detail, what is index keyword used for and all. So you can go through them if you don't have any understanding of these terms. So event please terminated. Yes, address indexed. Uh, Modifier. So let's start creating our modifiers. So the first modifier would be the landlord. So that we may not need to write the code again. For that we create modifiers. Okay, message dot sender should be equal to the landlord. Then only the landlord can perform this action. Okay, and so yes, this modifier is declared, and now let's move on to our second modifier. That would be only tenant. The required condition would be that the message dot sender should be the tenant. Okay. Otherwise, we'll say that only the tenant can perform this action. Okay. Yes, looks good. And now let's make a constructor function. Address tenant, then argument, rent amount, argument. So our constructor is a special function which we declare only once and or which gets executed only once while the time of deployment of this smart contract. So the lease term in this for this specific implementation, just as I would need to show it to you also. So we would be testing out. So for that, we have kept this lease term in terms of seconds. You can take this in terms of days. Okay. So just let's move forward. Landlord message dot sender. Yes. Okay. Set the message dot sender to be the landlord. Then the tenant would be the tenant. Okay, yes, which this guy while deploying provides, and rent amount would be the rent amount which he provides. Okay, while deployment of this smart contract, then lease term. Okay, lease term would be lease term. Yes, okay, looks cool, and so this constructor is defined. Okay, and now let's move on to the final part of this smart contract, that is to make our functions. So the first function would be to activate the lease. So yes, external only landlord. Yes, is lease active? True. Then set the is lease active to true, and then start time to be the time at which this function is called block dot timestamp. Yes. 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 Then emit the function that emit the event that this lease has been created. Okay, landlord to be landlord only, tenant to be this tenant. Okay, yes, and then start time. Yes, looks fine. Nothing to change here. Okay, start time is this. Okay, so yes, this event would be created. So this event would be emitted, and so now let's move to our second function, that is to pay the rent. External payable. Okay, only tenant. So required condition would be that the lease should be active. This lease active. Otherwise, we'll say the lease is not current, currently active. Yes, okay. So okay. Once the required condition is checked, we'll also check the amount provided by this tenant should be equal to the amount of rent decided. Message dot value should be equal to the rent amount. Otherwise, we'll say that the incorrect amount sent. Just correct rent amount sent. Okay, that's good. Yes, the message dot value should be equal to the rent amount, and let's now emit the event if everything goes fine, that the rent is paid, rent paid, and the pair would be message dot sender, that is the tenant, and the amount would be the message dot value, message dot value. Okay, looks cool. So the function, so another function would be to terminate the lease. Terminate lease. Only landlord, and the required conditions would be that the block dot timestamp should have passed the lease term. Okay, that means that the start time plus lease term. Because ideally the lease should only be cancelled after the lease term has ended. Okay, so if the landlord does not want to repeat the term, or if he or she wants to say that, okay, I want to just end this lease, so then only this terminate lease function should be allowed to call by the landlord. Okay, so that's it. And now just we'll say the error message would be the lease term has not ended yet. Ended yet. So looks fine. If everything goes right, then his lease active would be set to false, and the lease terminated event, and the terminator would be the landlord. Landlord's the terminator. Okay. So that's it. So that's how the terminate lease function would be declared, and it's complete. So now just the final function to allow the landlord to withdraw the funds. Withdraw funds. Okay. External only landlord. Okay. And table landlord dot transfer transfer the balance of this smart contract address dot this dot balance. Yes, looks fine. Okay. So looks like our smart contract is now complete. So let's try to just compile it and deploy it. Okay. So we have compiled it. Let's now try to deploy it. Okay. So the address of the tenant, let's say this address is the tenant, and okay, the rent amount, let us say, is to be this much way, and the lease term for this implementation, let's say just 30 seconds. Okay, let's transact it and let's see what happens. Okay, so our contract gets deployed successfully, and now you can see the start time is currently set to be 0 because it's the default value of this state variable. Okay, that event, the default value of the event, and the tenant is this guy, and amount is this much. Okay, so now let's say the landlord decides to just activate the lease, everything gets finalized, and he says that okay, now the lease has been activated, and now you can see this is the time at which the lease started, and the lease term is also there. Landlord, okay, is lease active? Yes, true. So so for this, okay, so let us say if he or she wants to just terminate the lease beforehand, and you can see it will say the lease term has not ended yet because 30 seconds have not yet passed. Okay, so that's why this that's what I was talking about. You can, for this demonstration only, I have kept that in seconds. For implementing it, you can change that to be in days. Okay, the lease term taken by the landlord in terms of days, not in terms of seconds. You can make that. Okay, that's just it. And so one more thing, if you like, you can just add a functionality to add what we can say security deposit. Okay, that security deposit is can also be added in this smart contract that you can make a function or something you can implement that this smart contract also receives some security deposit from the tenant. Okay, so the tenant, as you can see, can pay the rent. Okay, and he or she will just select this value, and then he can pay the rent. Okay, and this value will be, okay, this much value. And now you can see, yes, it gets successfully executed. So and the landlord can just withdraw the funds, and if someone else tries to withdraw, then it will show the error that only the landlord can perform this action. So our smart contract is actually working fine. You can see he can just withdraw the funds. Okay, and he can now, as the 30 seconds have passed, if he wants, he can just terminate the lease. And as you can see, it will be set to false. So that's all from my side, guys. If you like this video, then please do watch my previous videos also. And this was it from the day 23rd of our Smart 25 Days Challenge. So we would okay, so we would also be creating more smart contracts. So we'll meet on the day 24th of this smart contract series. This is Smart 25 Days Challenge. And till then, bye bye.